Hey everyone, it's Moonshine. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to do a very general collective reading. As I promised, we're pretty much going to alternate with the zodiac signs and the collective reads. We're going to do a reading each week at least, right? Let's go ahead and get started into this collective reading. We're going to give this reading a theme. Okay, let's start with that. I hope everyone's doing well. I've been getting a lot of like self-healing type downloads, just things that I'm coming into realization with myself. And I feel like that's currently the time, right? I feel like a lot of people are going through certain healing journeys within their self and figuring certain things out about themselves. I realize that I am very toxic in a lot of ways, and I feel like this is going to be like my healing season, kind of like a change to the behavior, kind of doing something different. So that's what I've been trying to get myself into, and I feel like a lot of people have been resonating with that type of energy. So we've got sheep, innocence, gentleness, appreciation. I feel like that goes with the the healing, right? Because everybody on this earth has been through something that they feel has caused issues or they feel has caused trauma. And again, the sheep brings it back to that innocence, that gentle, that appreciation for spirit, for the universe, for guidance, for self, right? Remembering that the love of self is very important, and appreciating the things that even we go through and the things that we've had to overcome, right? They say sheep follow, and I feel like it's following the lead of the universe, not in, I know some people like to associate it with like the Bible because it is a big thing in the Bible, but what I'm getting is the following of the universe, right? Finally being guided and allowing spirit, the universe to guide. And that's very important on the healing journey, because those spirits kind of guide you to a realization of self, right? First card here is patience. Patience. So we've got sheep and we've got patience, with the bottom of the deck showing hunger, right? So what I'm getting so far before we even get into the tarot is we need to be patient with ourselves, our healing process, showing gratitude and appreciation for where we've come from. There's no way to get back to that initial innocence, but there is a way to kind of provide a new life, new innocence moving forward, right? And during that time frame, don't allow yourself to be distracted. Don't allow yourself to be led by the flesh, right? We want to be led by the spirit, our third eye, our crown chakra. Don't allow yourself to want the craving of a touch or a person so bad that you fall into something that wasn't meant to be yours, just so that you can get that fix for that moment, right? And that goes with everything, not just sexual things, but food or even the things that you're trying to change about yourself. Don't let that craving, that addiction kind of lead the way or lead the force. Be led by your actualization, your self-awareness. So that's what I'm getting so far, and I feel like that's going to be a general theme, just because a lot of people are kind of going through that right now. I've done a few different readings, and that's been so core, right? So fundamental. What day is it? Yeah, we're still in Aries season. I have to think about it. Okay. Oh. Okay, so we've got 9 of Cups as the center here. So I didn't even do... I'm gonna leave it out there though. We've got 9 of Cups as the center. And, you're coming close to that end of the emotional cycle, right? And it goes back to this healing, because we had so much trauma that we had to come out of, right? So we're finally in a better mental state. We're finally moving forward. You're coming into this, but that's also an issue within your life, because with that realization, you're starting to realize some things that you might have enjoyed in the past that aren't necessarily for you, or vice versa. you know, realizing things that are for you. That's fairly new, fairly hard to get into. A lot of different emotions going on here, and that's said to come with healing. So you've also got the Two of Wands. So you're coming into a time where it's very structured, and you're using those emotions to kind of push yourself forward, right? And I love this kind of visualization of the Two of Wands, because he's got, like, there's two staffs, but it's him, and it looks like a pet, or like a steed or something, but it's like a big lion. That's what it looks like to me, a huge lion. So, oh, I didn't even show you the Nine of Cups. These cards are gorgeous. This is the Shadowscapes Tarot, this one right here. Now, here's the thing though, sometimes the idealism might get in the way of the emotions. Now, what I'm hearing a lot of is balance, right? And that's always key to everything, just kind of balancing out what's going on, balancing out the good and the bad. Remember, we all have good and bad within us. Balancing out your idealism as well as your emotions, right? Because a lot of times when we're working on something idealistic, when we're working on something that we manifested, we focus 100% completely on that manifestation, and we tend to leave our emotions out of it. We tend to leave our personal needs out of it, right? When we're focusing on our personal needs, we tend to slack on the things that we want out of life. And the key to all of this is going to be balance. Okay. So yeah, the root cause of this is those ideas, right? The Six of Wands. You've allowed those ideas to kind of take power, which isn't a bad thing, right? Because that means we're working towards goals that we've always had within our lifetime. You started putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You started putting a lot of expectations on yourself when it comes to the things that you want to accomplish out of life. So, but that's also kind of the root cause of the issue, because now it's thrown you off balance. You haven't had that time to focus on yourself. You haven't had that time to focus on spirit, to kind of just sit and meditate with yourself. When was the last time you meditated, or just kind of connected with yourself with ease, right? So that's what I'm seeing so far. We've got, oh, so the past, the card that represents the past is the Lovers, right? So it was coming out of a relationship. That's why you took your emotions out of it. That's exactly why you took your emotions out of it. And at that time, that's what you needed to heal. The relationship was rocky, it was hard. You know, you felt like it shouldn't have had to be that difficult. You felt like the relationship should not have had to be that difficult. It should have came with ease, and not ease in a way of like, oh, it's just easy, there's not going to be no conflict or contradiction, but ease where it should have flowed, right? There was no flow. It was almost like you were forcing the relationship, like you were forcing the package, forcing to stay, and the force was just making y'all more miserable. The force was just making it harder. Doesn't mean it was a terrible relationship. It was just very difficult. It was very, very difficult. But I am seeing that it did cause trauma. That's why you took your emotions out of the situation and started focusing on your ideas. That was your personal, genuine way of healing. But when you do that, right? When you do that, you forgot about the actual emotional healing, right? You healed the kind of like the physical. Okay, I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to get, you know, my home together. I'm going to build stability. But you didn't build mental stability. You didn't build emotional stability. You built monetary stability, right? You focused on monetary things instead of like your actual self. Right? It was just too hard to focus on self. So you put that effort and that energy into the business around you. So your hope was that this business was going to start a new journey. Ace of Wands. Your hope was this thing was going to bring out and start new journeys, new paths, maybe even rekindle some old flames. Maybe if this person see that I've got it all together, or maybe if you know, I do get it all together, somebody else would see my worth. You started to add your worth, kind of connect your worth to what you can provide monetarily, money wise, thing wise. What is the word for it? Excuse me, I can't think of the word for it, but materialistic, right? Materialistic things. You started to compare your worth to materialistic worth, right? And you forgot about the good things within, which can cause a lot of insecurity, right? Can cause a lot of insecurity. You're hoping people can see what you can bring to the table, right? Instead of realizing, like, sometimes the emotions, sometimes the internal struggles are the best thing to bring to the table. Excuse the loud revving. Hope they're going somewhere important. All right. Your worth is not compared to the things that you can provide. And even I had to learn that the hard way, just comparing my worth to the things that I can provide to somebody. Basically, it's like buying love. Okay, I can give you this and I can do that and I can cook and my house is clean and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, you expect people to fall for you because of that, but then you forgot to work on your personality. Now you're probably, and here's the thing, you're probably entering the dating scene, or even if you're in a relationship, you're kind of trying to rekindle that fire, and you both are kind of thinking about it, and you're like, well, what do we even like to do? What do I like to do? Where do I like to go? The only thing you can think of is like, oh, maybe going out, and half the time, like, is that something that you truly, truly enjoy? Like, what's an actual activity that you like to do? What's something that brings you back to yourself, right? You have to find what brings you back to yourself. Your future is the Six of Wands. So yeah, of course, Six of Swords. Sorry about that. Your future is the Six of Swords. So you learning these things, right, is going to cause you to kind of go backwards a little bit. You feel like you took one step forward and then two steps backwards, but in reality, it's exactly what you need. You need some grounding. You need some truth in your life. You need some power, right? You need to go back to that self sort of power, and you're going to get it. That's what's coming up in the future. Just your realization of self. You see how she's kind of like riding the swan, and the crows are on the swords, right? And it's like, here's the thing. If you notice, one of those swords is missing a crow, right? There's 5 crows. And one of those swords is missing a crow, but it's a swan, and she's on that swan. And it kind of brings me back to like the tale of the ugly duckling. You know what I mean? Because it was a swan and it was amongst ducks, right? So everybody kind of considered it ugly, right? They didn't see the appearance. They didn't see the appeal because they were so used to everything looking like ducks. You're so used to everything kind of looking like crows, and that you kind of forget that you're a swan. You get what I'm saying? And once you like really take flight, you see how she kind of flew off. Once you really take flight and realize your own personal power, that's when stuff is going to really start aligning for you. That's when alignment comes into play so much for you. And it's crazy because this card fell in the exact right spot. This is the card that represents you, and it's the world. It's literally the world. We are the center of our own universe. That's what we have to remember. We tend to put other people's needs in front of our own, other people's wants in front of our own, which is one of the reasons why you turn to this materialistic living style, right? Because you realize that that's what that other person wanted. That's what that other person needed. So you felt like in order to be in a happy, solid relationship, or in order to get the things out of life that you really wanted, that's what you had to be like. And in reality, it's not. You are the center of the world for you, right? So the real happiness comes through that self-love. You have to be able to make yourself happy. You have to be able to really connect with it. You see how she's kind of got like her forehead, like her third eye, right on that world. She's connecting with it. You have to connect with your higher self. You have to connect with the universe. And a lot of that means not focusing on a lot of the monetary, because it's really self-actualization. That's the whole key to the journey, is self-actualization. Learning what you love about yourself, loving what you don't, right? If the things that you don't love about yourself are things that you feel like you're able to change, okay, that's fine, you can change it. But in reality, you were created the way you were supposed to be created. Now, don't get me wrong. There are lessons in life. There are changes that we are supposed to make. There are things that we're supposed to do to learn and to grow. But there are some things that we don't like about ourselves that are assets. And that's what we tend to forget. We tend to try to always fix ourselves, right? That's that jealousy factor. We tend to look at other people and other people's lives are great. And we always are trying to fix ourselves, to change ourselves. And in reality, we were made how we were meant to be made. And here's the thing. What I feel is like a lot of the things that we're supposed to do kind of bring us back to childhood. And I know that's a common thought, right? That innocence as a child that you have was your true self, right? And we've allowed the world to take that innocence away. We've allowed society to dictate who we are, what we do, how we feel. And in turn, when we do that, we lose sight of ourselves. We focus on things of the now. What can I do to get that little fix of happiness? Because all the time, I'm just so depressed. I'm so anxious. I'm not perfect, right? So we focus on the little things that can give us that little bit of happiness. In reality, what we should be focusing on is ourselves, right? So outside factors, outside factors, the tower. Outside factors, the universe. The universe, it's funny that the universe is the outside factor in this, because what this says is the universe is trying to connect you back to yourself, right? So the outside factor is the universe is tearing it all down. Everything that you feel like you've worked for, and that's why it's so hard to maintain, because you worked for it for somebody else. You put that energy in, not for your own personal growth, but for other people to see your worth and your growth. And your worth isn't based upon what other people think of you. Your worth is based upon what you think of yourself. So they're tearing that shit down, right? They're tearing some of what you built down, not to punish you, not to harm you, but to show you that some of those people in your corner are only in your corner for your monetary gain. And you did that on purpose. You specifically went out of your way because you thought that that's how love, that's how people showed love. That's how love was formed, giving gifts or showing that I'm better. People were drawn to me. I'm popular. That's not a form of love. And spirit is like, we're going to make you see. And here's the thing. You can always stop the tower from happening. And I know people say that you can't. I'm going to tell you how to stop the tower. And it's no secret. It's no secret. Everybody says this. It's no secret. The way to stop the tower is to actually learn the lesson. That's the way to stop it. If you figure out the lesson before the tower comes, it's not going to happen. But if it takes this tower, trust me, Spirit is going to make it happen. Spirit is going to make it happen. You have to realize that just because somebody likes you for the things that you can provide doesn't mean they're meant to be in your corner. That's all they're there for. The second you can't provide it anymore, it's over, right? The second that you can't give people what they need, all of a sudden there's an issue, right? And Spirit wants you to find true friendship. Spirit wants you to find true love, not people who are around you just for what you can provide. There are people out there that want you for you. They want to love you for you, but your space is already taken up. There's not enough room for them to love you the way that they need to love you because you've got all these fake people around you, right? They're in their seat. You've got somebody sitting in that seat, right? And you expect those people to come along, but where the hell are they supposed to go? That's like asking for something with a handful. Please, sir, may I have some more? Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? Your hand is full. How? You see? You've got to clear out some of the negativity. And here's the thing. Some of these people, you know that they're only there for show. Some of these people you don't. You think they're there because they like you. In reality, they're there because what you can provide, right? So let's keep going. Let's keep going. That card, oh my gosh. Spirit is going to make it happen. It's either you make it happen or they make it happen. But either way, it's going to happen. That's how the universe works. You have a path. You were guided for a reason. You have a path. They're either going to make it happen for you or you're going to make it happen. So either way, it's happening. Either way, it's happening. Okay, so here are your hopes and your fears. Your hopes is that the fact that you built all these monetary things, it's the 9 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. The fact that you built all these monetary things, right? You're coming out of that cycle, right? You've got 9, right? Which is the end of the cycle, but then you've got 10. And then 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So the start of something new. That's what you're hoping for. You're hoping out of all of this, I put all this work in. I've built myself from the ground up. I'm hoping that I'm going to get something new because of it. I'm hoping that everything's just going to be good. I'm going to get my abundance. I'm going to get everything that I'm meant to have out of this. You're hoping that just life is going to be the way you need it to be. And you see how like the 9, I feel like the 9 represents you specifically because again, it's this guy on his steed, right? This big ass lion, this big ass cat. But look at him. He's got a staff. He looks like he's just ready. That's his energy, right? But look at the 10. The 10 is like the home. You see, it's almost like a castle. And look, it's built. You see how she's holding up the castle? It's built on your back. This home was built on your back. You put your blood, your sweat, your tears into it. So you're like, everything is perfect, right? But your biggest fear is death. And it's not literal dying. Your biggest fear is losing all that you've worked for. Shit, I put in so much work. I put in so much work. I worked hard for this. What if I lose it all? That's your biggest fear. You fear that you're going to lose it all. And here's the thing. At any point, anybody can lose all that they built. At any point. For anybody. So, one, why are you any different when it comes to that, right? Here's the key. If your value is based off of what you've built, right? If that's your only worth, if that's your only value, if you lose it all, you've lost value. You've lost worth. But if your worth comes from self, comes from the universe, comes from the higher up, if that's your worth, you can never lose that. You can never lose your connection to spirit. You can never lose love of self. You can never lose your self-worth, self-actualization. You can't lose that, right? So in reality, you're kind of focused on the wrong things, And kind of the ending, like the overall feel for what's going to happen here is I have the Chariot. The Chariot. And what I'm taking from that is this actualization is on its way. And, you know, the Chariot is a Cancer card, right? And you see the crab at the bottom. I'm a Cancer, by the way. But that is your ride out of Dodge, right? And it's going to come very emotionally, bringing it back to the beginning, right? Bringing you back to that beginning, bringing you back to that innocence, bringing you back to that gentleness, that appreciation, because it's going to bring you back to an appreciation of self, that gentleness. You're going to basically find yourself within this journey. And I'm just hoping for your sake that you don't have to go through the tower to get it, right? Because that's your biggest fear right now, is losing it all. And sometimes you got to lose it all to gain full perspective. Sometimes that's exactly what it is. Sometimes we have to lose it all to gain full perspective. And I love the bottom of the deck here. It's this 4 of Swords, right? The truth comes out. You see, she's empowered. She's growing. Like, I love how her hair kind of blends in with the light from the sun, and she's got these flowers around her. And you know, it looks like dove. A dove is down here at this bottom right here, right? I'm gonna put it back up to the camera so you can see it. She's dressed in all white, right? Brings it back to that pureness, that innocence, right? And she, again, her hair blends in with the sun. That's absolutely gorgeous. She's coming back to the truth of herself. She's coming back to her awareness. That's what I'm feeling is the key right now. It's coming back to self. You've left yourself. Oh, and that's so crazy because I watched Queen Cup Tarot. I absolutely positively love Queen Cup Tarot. She's the high priestess of my dreams. But I watched Queen Cup Tarot. She actually said that the other day. I forgot which reading it was in. But dang, I lost my train of thought. But it's basically like just coming back to self, just finding yourself again. Oh, Petunia. Go watch Queen Cup Tarot. She's been talking about Petunia for a while, but it's, you know, it's like you're going through the dark and you just have you and you meet somebody in the dark with you. You leave yourself alone to go follow this person, right, through the dark. And now this person has gone on their left. You guys are no longer together or whatever the case may be. You left your true self behind and kind of changed and formed to be with this person. And now that this person is gone, you're looking for yourself in the dark, right? And you're like, Petunia. And I absolutely love Queen Cup Tarot. Please go watch her if you haven't yet. But that's kind of like what you're doing right now. You're looking for yourself in the dark because you've left yourself for the relationship, right? You went into a relationship and you changed for this person. You left yourself to be what this person needed. And when the shit went sour, instead of you going to find yourself, you put all your effort into building yourself up to be exactly who this person would have expected, right? To be exactly what this person was craving. So you built yourself up in that sense. So we've got legacy of light. Legacy of light. There's a higher connection to who you are, right? There's a higher connection, gifts, generations worth of gifts embedded in your DNA, right? You don't even realize the amount of worth that you have within yourself. It just passed down, right? And then the guidance that comes from this, imagine that. Imagine this being you. These are your ancestors, and it looks like it's child, mother, grandmother. That's what it looks like, right? And it's like passing down generation of generation, and it's guidance, right? It's guidance. You have unlimited guidance available to you through spirit, through self, through a connection to the universe, right? Again, your worth isn't monetary. It is within self, and it's embedded in your DNA, grown and raised. You were born, you were bred to do something big, legacy of light, right? This is your legacy, right? The people who come before you, they set the path. Doesn't mean they were perfect, okay? Does not mean in any way, shape, or form they were perfect. Some of them might have dropped the ball, but there's a legacy here, and there's something bigger worth. And here's the thing: if you feel like you don't have that connection to your ancestors, if you feel like you don't have that connection to your journey or your path, start it. Start a legacy. Build a group of like-minded people, right? If you want the world to be a certain way, make it that way. Again, you are the center. You are the center of your own universe. Make it that way. Find a mate that brings that same power to you, right? Teach your children the love and the light of that power. You can change it today, right? You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait until everything's fixed. You don't have to wait until everything's solved. You don't have to wait until everything's perfect. Make that change right now. Start your legacy today. But if you have that connection to your ancestors, you're guided, right? Pandora's gift. That is the gift. That is the true gift. You're the gift. Look at, you see, she's kind of holding this mask. This is what I'm taking from this card. You are the true gift. Look at the light that's coming from the center. The light that's coming from the center kind of goes up and it crosses over the crown chakra, over the third eye chakra, goes down through the throat chakra. Like, it literally comes down through her. You are the gift. You are Pandora's gift. You're the gift for the universe, right? She's holding this mask, and here's the thing, we've been masking for so long. We've been hiding ourselves, we've been hiding our powers for so long, right? Because we've been trying to fit into what society feels is how the universe should see us. We've been trying to fit into what the world thinks worth is, but our worth has never come from the world, right? We are not of the world, we're just in the world. Softly, softly, the tender touch. And look at, she's crying. It's time for you to connect back to your emotions. It's time to become soft. Open your heart chakra. We've been so focused on our goals and our dreams that we haven't been intact with ourselves, right? Softly, softly, the tender touch. Connect back to yourself. Connect back to who you were meant to be, right? And she's got beautiful art pieces around her crown, right? We were built for so much more, and you don't even understand the amount of emotions that goes into guidance. That's what emotions are meant for. It's guidance. Something made you feel great. Okay, why did it make you feel great? Was it a great as in a good thing, or was it a great as in it was fleeting, right? Then you figure out, okay, is this something that I can do consistently? How do I make that feeling happen again? Something made you feel terrible. Why? Did it make me feel terrible because of my trauma? Did it make me feel terrible because of things that has happened to me in the past? Did it make me feel terrible because it just was a terrible thing to do? How do I move forward? How do I learn? And how do I go from there? Okay? So, bottom of the deck is inner trust. Inner trust. We have to go back to that inner trust. And here's the thing. One of the reasons why you don't trust a lot of people, and this is going to hit a couple people hard, right? One of the reasons why you don't trust a lot of people is because you don't trust yourself. And I said this a lot recently through some different readings, but we were all made in God's image. Whether you believe in God or not, right? The universe created it in its image. We are of the universe, right? That makes us gods and goddesses. With that being said, when you don't trust yourself, you don't trust God. When you don't trust God, you don't trust the universe. When you don't trust the universe, you don't trust the guidance that's there for you from the universe, your spirit guides, your angels, your ancestors. You don't trust any of it because you don't trust yourself, right? Now, when you don't love yourself, think of it as the same. There's a lack of love and energy for the universe. How can you trust me and you don't trust yourself? When the things that you see and you like about me is a reflection of yourself, or the things that you dislike about me is a reflection of yourself, because it's a reflection of the things that you've experienced in the past, or it's a reflection of your biggest insecurities. Everything in the universe is connected. And I know that's just a common saying, and it's so hard to figure out how in depth we are connected. But if you don't trust yourself, you're never going to trust anything or anybody else. Okay? So I'm going to end it on a couple of these affirmation cards. These are just reminders for us to just do good. Right? Just things about ourselves. When I live and act from a place of spiritual alignment, I can trust, and trust is in capital letters, by the way. It's bigger than the rest. That's what I should say. They're all capital. I can trust that everything is working out for me, even if I don't know when or how it will happen. When you're connected, when you're spiritually aligned, which requires balance, including emotional, by the way. When you're connected and spiritually aligned, you can trust, right? Trust that the universe has your back. Everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out, just because that's how it's going to happen, right? You don't have to know when, you don't have to know how, you don't have to plan it out all the time. It's not your will, it's the will of the universe. That's another thing that's like our biggest issues. We try to plan, like, you know the saying, like, if you want to make God laugh, plan. Plan it out, because the universe definitely has its own way of how things are supposed to work out. And a lot of times it's better, and a lot of times it's easier, but we're so used to this is how it has to be done that we forget the universe part in it, right? And then we make it harder on ourselves. I heal the habit of fear, and I embrace the habit of love. Right? Your heart chakra has been closed off for quite some time. That's what I'm feeling. I heal the habit of fear and embrace the habit of love. Right? Don't let the fear of losing things, don't let the fear of being seen for who you are, don't let the fear of embracing your insecurities stop you from things, right? It's time for us to love and be loved. Feeling good will bring me far more than whatever I thought I needed. Simple. Feeling good will bring me far more than whatever I thought I needed. And here's the thing. Okay, we've got materialistic things. We've got money. We can buy whatever we want. But does that mean you feel good? Hell no. Hell no. Does not mean you feel good. Just because you got some money doesn't mean you feel good. Just because you got materialistic things doesn't mean you feel good. And feeling good will bring you far more than whatever you thought you needed. You thought you had to build up all this materialistic wealth. You thought you had to build up all this materialistic worth, right? But just feeling good, being happy, opening up to love, opening up that heart chakra, just connecting back more with self, feeling good is what you really need. That's what's going to bring you that satisfaction. Because even throughout all of this, even throughout the building, you've got a lot of things, but you have yet to feel like you've gotten what you need. You feel me? Like you still feel there's a void. There's a lack. There's a void, there's a lack. This is going to be the last card, and I'll also do the bottom of the deck. The universe powerfully responds the instant I realign with love. I'm going to read that again. The universe powerfully responds the instant I realign with love. And here's the thing. A lot of you are watching this thinking, realigning with love means to go find somebody to love, or to find somebody to date, or find something, or you see what I'm saying, like an animal. That's not what realigning with love means. I promise you. Realigning with love means the love of self. And I know I keep saying that, but that is the theme. That is the theme for this reading. Realigning with the love of self, right? Love of the universe. Taking time to love nature, taking time to love what you have, taking time to be grateful for what you have, looking in the mirror and just knowing like, hey, I'm a bad bitch. You see what I'm saying? Realigning with love, loving who you are, who you become, right? And the only way to do that is open that heart chakra. Bottom of the deck, when I surrender my will, your will, right? What you expect out of life. When I surrender my will to the care of spirit and the universe, I attune my energy with an ever-present stream of well-being. When I surrender my will to the care of the universe, to the care of spirit and the universe, I attune my energy with an ever-present stream of well-being. When you allow the universe to provide, when you allow spirit to provide, right? You can, you have that time and that energy and that patience to connect to the love of self, right? You have that time and that energy and that patience to work on the things that you find is important, because you're allowing spirit to take care of all the things that drove you crazy, which again goes back to patience and goes back to that innocence, gentleness, appreciating spirit, being patient, allowing spirit to work for you. A lot of us, we try to rush spirit. We try to stick to plans, and spirit is like, I got this. Be patient. It's coming to you the way you manifested it. It's coming to you based off of the seeds that you planted, but you have to allow us to do our part, right? You're forcing it on your own, and that's what's causing a lot of this struggle. So just going back to being yourself and being happy. It's time to find ourselves, people. We're in a new age. We're in a new world. It's time to get down to who we are at our core. So I hope this resonated with you. If you don't know, readings, the general collective readings, they're very subjective, right? I'm pulling from a huge collective. If the shoe fits where it's too tight, take it off, right? But I hope it resonated with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. And please come back next week as we do the zodiac signs for the start of May, okay? I love you all, and I hope you all have a wonderfully amazing week, year, journey, life, whatever you want it to be. I hope it's wonderful. I hope it brings you joy and happiness. And I hope you come back. Peace, love, and hair grease. Bye.